Imagine a country sculpted not by its people but by a foreign empire, branded as independent yet ruled from afar. A puppet state cloaked in imperial grandeur, its name whispered with unease. Built on conquest, shrouded in ambition, and steeped in tragedy, it was a nation never truly free. A lost land forged in war and dissolved in defeat. Welcome to the Library of Lost Lands, where we delve into the stories of countries that once were, but are no longer with us. For 13 years, from 1932 to 1945, the state of Manchukuo claimed to rule vast parts of northeastern China, what had long been known as Manchuria. With Changchun as its capital and over 30 million people, it had all the formal trappings of a nation, laws, borders, and an emperor. That emperor was Puyi, the last Qing monarch, pulled from retirement to wear a borrowed crown. To the world, Manchukuo was his reborn empire, but in reality, it was a puppet regime of Imperial Japan, designed to cloak military occupation in the language of legitimacy. The flag of Manchukuo was telling, a bright yellow field representing imperial power with 4 horizontal stripes, red, blue, white, and black, stacked in the top left corner. These stripes were borrowed from the old 5 races under one union flag of the Republic of China, symbolizing unity between Han, Manchu, Mongol, Hui, and Tibetan peoples. But that harmony was more aspiration than reality, especially under the iron grip of Japanese rule. After Japan's invasion of Manchuria in 1931, engineered through the infamous Mukden incident, its military quickly seized control of the region. But instead of annexing it outright, they crafted a story. Manchukuo would be a free and independent nation led by its rightful heir, Emperor Puyi. It was a move designed to circumvent international outrage and challenge Chinese sovereignty through the language of self-determination. Puyi, humiliated and exiled after the Qing collapse, accepted the role reluctantly, hoping for real power, but found himself under constant surveillance, his movements dictated by Tokyo. On paper, Manchukuo had all the marks of a modern state. It printed its own currency, ran trains and postal services, and sent representatives abroad, though honestly very few countries recognized it. Japan poured resources into its showcase cities, especially Changchun, which they renamed Xingqing, turning it into this vision of orderly modernity. But beneath this veneer was a brutal regime. Forced labor, land seizures, ethnic hierarchy, and constant propaganda all reinforced Japanese dominance. Some local elites cooperated, many out of survival and others, well, they were seduced by promises of prestige. Even Puyi himself, the emperor, was a grudging actor, paraded about in silks but powerless behind the gilded curtains. Manchukuo's biggest problem was its obvious artificiality. The League of Nations refused to recognize it, which led Japan to withdraw from the League altogether. For ordinary people, life was, frankly, harsh. Ethnic Chinese faced repression, Koreans were resettled en masse, and Japan launched biological weapons research under the notorious Unit 731. Even the illusion of harmony crumbled as military brutality increased and resistance movements sprang up. Chinese communists, nationalists, and even bandit armies united in hatred of the regime. In August 1945, as World War II drew to a close, the Soviet Union invaded Manchukuo, crushing Japanese forces in a swift campaign. Puyi tried to flee but was captured and sent to Siberia. The empire he fronted vanished overnight. Manchukuo was never formally dissolved, it simply ceased to exist. Its territory was handed back to China and its name was scrubbed from maps and memory. Puyi would eventually be returned to China, re-educated, and live out his days as a humble gardener in Beijing. The fall of Manchukuo revealed the extent of Japan's manipulation. Trials after the war exposed the forced labor camps, experiments on civilians, and the systematic looting of resources. But few of its collaborators were held accountable. Puyi's memoirs, ghost-written and sanitized, offered a glimpse into life at the top of a regime that had no soul. His legacy, like Manchukuo itself, is complicated. A man caught between fading empires and rising powers, used as a pawn in a geopolitical game. Today, Changchun still bears traces of Manchukuo's past. Grand buildings, once ministries and palaces, now house museums and universities. The old imperial palace of Puyi remains preserved, part shrine, part cautionary tale. For some in China and Korea, memories of Japanese rule in Manchukuo are bitter. The scars run deep, and official memory highlights resistance and suffering, not sovereignty. But there are still dusty photographs, leftover stamps, and forgotten monuments to an empire that never really was. And that golden flag with the rainbow corner? It survives only in collectors' drawers and counterfactual dreams. Manchukuo was a land designed in Tokyo, paraded in Geneva, and dismantled by Moscow. It offered the facade of independence, the illusion of monarchy, and the promise of unity, while delivering occupation and subjugation. But even fake countries have consequences. Manchukuo shaped the course of Chinese nationalism, fueled memories of betrayal, and taught the world a hard lesson, that empires may wear local masks, but the people underneath will always know who is pulling the strings. Was Manchukuo ever real, or was it just an empire's puppet show performed on stolen land?